What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Combat Corporation, your source of combat sports. I'm your host, Al the Postmaster Morrow, and today I have a gear review on the Hit and Move Turtle Micro Mitts. Alright folks, as always, I'm incredibly excited to bring you yet another gear review, as today we have a pair of mitts, which is something I wish I did more on the channel. I just don't review mitts as much because I don't collect them nearly as much as I do boxing gloves or MMA, but these have been requested on the channel for some time in the comments, and on top of it, you know I love to bring new and exciting things from the combat sports industry, and today we have a very nice piece of boxing equipment or combat sports equipment in general. Very unique and innovative pair of mitts. We have the Hit and Move Micro Turtle Mitts. As you can see, we got the cool turtle design on the back here, and I'm excited to do this review because Hit and Move, if you've been on the channel for the last 2 years, has been making waves in the boxing world with guys like Gervonta Davis and his coach using their equipment, Jaleel Hackett, who is an up-and-coming pro. These mitts and Hit and Move equipment has actually been featured in Creed 3, the movie, which is absolutely nuts. And also, not only that, but you have a guy like Patrice Boogie Harris. Go watch his Instagram and his YouTube stuff of his Mitt Work. Absolutely nuts. I don't know how anyone could keep up with that, but he's a great boxing coach, great boxing mind that uses Hit and Move turtle mitts actually on a daily basis now, which is really, really cool, especially when you think about some of the other brands of mitts that guy is using. So at the end of the day, Hit and Move has been making waves in the boxing world and all over combat sports, and I think the reason why, guys, is because there are like 3 or 4 different types of brands out there. There's brands that have been there for a very long time, that I just keep doing what they've been doing because it keeps making them success. Brands like Everlast, Winning, Reyes, Grant, stuff like that. Then you have other brands out there that just kind of copy and mimic what everyone's doing with a couple minor adjustments. Then you have some brands that make something cool, but it's still pretty similar to all the other ones, but they definitely have their own touch on it. Then there are brands that just innovate entirely and make something different. Brands to me like Rival, Onyx Sports, and Hit and Move are brands that do that really well, and Hit and Move has been something that I love for a while, founded by Ozzy and his wife, who are actually into orthopedics and physical therapy, so they actually understand. They're very healthy people in general. They actually understand how the anatomy of the human body works, and just so happens that this guy is a genius when it comes to that stuff and enjoys boxing, got into it for fitness purposes, and now he's actually, he spars. I don't know if he's competed yet, that'd be cool, but he actually spars. He actually gets into the mindset of an athlete for the sport and created Hit and Move because he felt that, just like the slogan says, boxing deserves better, which is absolutely cool. I love that. Get chills every time I say it. But I will tell you right ahead of this time, although I'm a massive fan of Hit and Move, this was sent to me. These mitts were sent to me, so that is the disclaimer right off the bat. I have bought everything that Hit and Move has sent me, except for the last 3, their fight gloves, the last agility gloves they sent me, and then, of course, these mitts. But just because it was sent to me, guys, and I give every brand the same warning, if something sucks about this mitt, I'm going to tell you it sucks. If it doesn't, I'm going to tell you it doesn't, and I'm going to tell you what I love about it. But the reason why, guys, it is your time, your health, and your money that comes off of this, because those are the 3 most important things that come into the sport. And I love combat sports so much. I want you to keep training. I don't want your training to be ruined because of a bad review I gave because someone sent me something for free, no matter how expensive stuff might be. I want to just throw that out there right off the bat. But I tell you that every time, you know that. So with that said, let's actually go into the review, and I want to talk about the really cool part of these right here actually being the turtle design that we have, right? And the turtle design was something that Ozzy saw when he was going for a jog and saw a turtle on the side of the road when he was trying to design his mitts. Now, they have another pair of micro mitts that you can buy on the website, but these were the thing he had in mind. How can he disperse the shock perfectly with a pair of mitts that will be good for the athlete and the coach and keep everyone safe while being durable at the same time. So that was the one thing that was really cool when Ozzy was telling me the story of how he made the design for these. And now double-sided mitts like these have been a concept for a long time. People have tried them, but even coaches I've met and videos I've seen, it just seems like they're bulky and cumbersome, and they just kind of, you know, they're in your way when you're trying to do stuff and make angles. But the idea is when you have a regular mitt like this, although this is an Air Core mitt, you know, by Everlast, is that it's padded on one side but not the other. Yet you see coaches do stuff like this and get hit on the side, and then the athlete has to kind of pull their punch a little bit so they don't blast someone's hand, or you see coaches wrapping their hands before putting their hands in mitts. Then on top of it, they have to do uncomfortable angles. Like if I want to do a right uppercut to the body, you'll see people do this. And I have seen coaches, no joke, pop their elbows up or pop their shoulders out from a hard-hitting guy, knocking their shoulders up from a very unnatural angle, right? Now, people have been doing that for a very, very long time. It's not ever going to change. People are still going to use mitts like these. As much as I love these will not just change the entire market. I think it is definitely a really cool change in the game. I think more people will use stuff like this. But at the end of the day, this allows you to have very natural angles so your body doesn't have to make all those funky angles that could possibly put you at risk of injury. And that's basically what you want to try and avoid when it comes to using mitts of any kind. So what these do is they're padded on the back with this turtle idea. And just like a turtle shell, when you look at the grooves, when you get hit, you know, the turtle shell is very strong. It all goes throughout the grooves, and the kinetic energy just kind of fizzles out the side of the turtle. Now, eventually, obviously, a turtle will crack, just like if a gator tries chomping on it. That's going to be in your YouTube search history soon. I don't recommend it if you like animals like I do. Seeing the poor turtle, you know, it's not fun. But at the end of the day, that was the inspiration behind the turtle mitts. And these are micro mitts as well with an orthopedic design. So micro mitts are usually made for speed, high accuracy, you know, really working your athlete's time and technique, right, when it comes to micro mitts. It's also my favorite type of mitt to use before we walk out for a bout, just because of, you know, the sleek thing, and it fits into your travel bag really good. I tend to use air mitts a lot, but these mitts are really, really cool. Now, I won't necessarily go into the model that I have, but I will say that they all come in one size fits all in one colorway. That is the black and gold colorway. But the one difference between my model and the ones you'll buy offline is that these don't have the elastic and Velcro strap that comes across the back. It's only just a hand slide in one. But honestly, I prefer that over the elastic, the Velcro strap, because sometimes the Velcro just starts scraping on the back of my wrist and I hate it. But yeah, the one you get probably will have the Velcro strap to make the wrist tighter. But let's go into the look of the mitt, and we can talk about how this thing just looks stylish and it looks sleek. I'm even going to turn the light down just a little bit so you can kind of get not quite as much shine, but you have a complete midnight black outer shell here, and you can see that all throughout the ridge, going throughout here, throughout the palm. But when we go into the palm, you can see that we have the hit and move. It says turtle right there with the hit and move logo, and it says hit and move right there. And that's in gold, because black and gold is just one of the time-tested colorways. You can see that we have that divot here in the center, that circular divot for your palm to really catch the impact and the shock. Then we got the palm, once again, is all black here. The laces at the bottom are all black. The interior lining even that you have here is a mesh type fit. As you can see, we got a mesh fit right here. And then on the inside, you have that blackish white gray color that is a nice mesh. And then coming down here, you have your hit and move turtle, it says right there. And that's the logo right there in gold. And then there's the L telling you this is the left mitt, and obviously that would mean that this is the right mitt that you can see at the bottom. And both of them have the really cool gold hit and move logo in the center of the turtle shell system. Tongue tie! But when you come here, you can also see all the rivets and divots that you got going on here. That rhymes. See what I'm doing, everyone? Of the turtle shell. And it does look like a really cool turtle shell going on the back. So it's definitely a cool looking mitt. I've definitely had a lot of people at my gym when I use them say, those look different. My coach even looks at them and says, that's different. I've never seen that before, because he's had the same pair of Venoms since he was training Matt Hamill in like 2005. So he's had them for a very long time, and he's still using them to this day. He's got duct tape all around them and everything. But these are these are a really cool design mitt. Now, going into the actual build and design of the glove, we can talk about the outer shell is a complete Turkish leather, and it feels, and the smell of this mitt is absolutely amazing. It smells like a brand new leather coat, and I love that. You know, I am a leather fanatic. I like wearing leather products in general too, like coats and shoes, and same thing for having a nice leather wallet. But this smells like a brand new leather coat that you just got from your local leather shop. We have a place called Forever Leather where I am. I always walk in there because it's down the street in the same plaza as our gym. I walk right in and I'm like, ah, man. And I just talked to the guy because I've been going there for years. And that's what this mitt smells like. In fact, the leather smell is so strong that when I sat down, my fiance, with this in the box and in the wrap, said, "Those new gloves?" I said, "How'd you know?" And she's like, "Well, not only do you get them all the time, but I can smell the leather from here." And it's very true. It is a very strong natural leather scent. Smells really good, and it is a very soft and supple leather on the outside. Very smooth, textured leather. You can see the natural grains going throughout the leather as well. It's not too brushed, but it's brushed enough so the paint will go on nice and smooth. But you can see the nice little natural grain marks all throughout here, all throughout the ridge as well. And it looks really, really nice, and I love how this works in general. So it's a very nice leather, and you have that all throughout the glove except for the stitching and the laces that you have down here, which is obviously a type of yarn or string of some kind. Except for down here, you have a air mesh going down here. I don't know if you can see that, but it is a mesh going down here right underneath where your wrist rests, and then on the inside you have your nice lining, which is that, like, kind of, I always tell people it's like that dry fit pillow material I always talk about. It's like a poly cotton material. Feels really good. It feels like the inside of a combat sports MMA glove. You know, not too rugged, but it's nice and grippy for the inside of your hand, which is always a good texture and feel when you're doing stuff. Going into the most important part of a mitt, and that is the foam texture on the inside to cradle your hand and to safely hit your athletes. Because guys, these are not just for offense, they are for defense. They are to work everything. I will die on that hill. It's not to look cool, it is to practice technique with these things. And I always make sure with a good mitt, I want it to be nice and padded for my hands, cushioned for my hands, my elbows, and my shoulders, but I also want to make sure it is soft enough to hit my athlete back, whether it be on the head, on the nose, whether it be chest, stomach, forearm, shoulders, whatever it might be. I want to be able to smack my athlete back and know that I'm not going to concuss them because it is nice and soft and padded. That's what you have here. So the foam composition that you have throughout the entire glove, whether it be the back of the glove, whether it be the inside of, the mitt, whether it be the back of the mitt, the inside of the mitt, or the outside of the mitt, you have a couple different foam compositions. You have orthopedic foam, probably a lot of high density sponge foam, similar to what, say, like Winning would use to cradle your knuckles throughout the entirety of the glove, right? So you have those high density open cell orthopedic foams. You also have a layer of gel to protect your palm in general, and then you also have one solid foam ball on the inside that protects and basically disperses impact, so it doesn't make direct impact, so the knuckle doesn't like pierce through the mitt and then gets right in there. Because if you've had a bad pair of mitts before, some of you coaches know, the inside of your palms just feel like they're dying at the end, and your wrists are just jarring back. So you have a bunch of different layers of foam on the inside that cover the entire oval or circular shape rather that you have going on here on the ridge as well. And it is a little firmer at the tip of the ridge, but it's still not too hard at all. And the mitt is decently flexible, not too much, because that's the cradling motion that you can see. I'm really curving that in as hard as I can, and it doesn't curve in so much, but it reforms really quick. It curves in this way a little bit more because naturally your mitt's going to curve down from the impact. But overall, the entirety of the mitt and the foam composition is meant for protection of you and your athlete, especially the back of the mitt, so you can use that, and I'll go into the angles and stuff that you can use with this. It's also those layers of that ortho foam that you would feel in like casts and stuff, like those air casts almost. That's how I can describe it. And it's like a nice thick durable foam. And on the back, it's not necessarily the softest texture, it's definitely more rigid texture, and you can see how it's designed all the way throughout this. So each and every individual foam piece, it's stitched in by itself, which for me is an ingenious design, because usually you'd have something just one solid piece on the back, but that's not what you have. So you have a big piece of foam here bridging the fingertips and your fingers at the top, then the back of the hand and the back of the knuckles and your wrist, and then you have down here as well, once again over your wrist. Then you have one piece of foam here that's going to latch onto your wrist. Same thing with the grippy inside texture. So that's what you have going on. And then of course my favorite thing of any mitt is to have a little tiny circular spot. This is to let your athlete know this is where you want to hit for maximum accuracy. And then on top of it, it also helps you absorb the shock, because if it was once flat surface would constantly just smush in. You'd have a hole in the center anyway. So they just do it for you, and it doesn't divot in that much more at all over time. So it is overall a very soft, plush mitt that feels really good. And when you put your hand in here, like I said, that interior lining has a nice grippy texture. Now, the one thing I will say is it is so padded at the front of my fingers when I'm putting my fingers in, and you can feel the foam ball in the center. And like I said, you have this piece of foam here, so when someone hits the bottom of your wrist, it like kind of bounces off that, and that way you're not getting crushed down here. But the one thing is you can actually see my fingers kind of sticking out towards the top here. Now, I think it would be virtually impossible for your athlete to hit so high that it would somehow break my fingers up here. I highly, highly, highly doubt that. Virtually every mitt on the market kind of has that feature. Even this one, you'll be able to see my fingers at the fingertips right here. You can see them bulging out right there. And this is a gigantic Aircore mitt. So that I can't fault hit and move, because every mitt does that. I don't know too many mitts that literally cover the top of the hand like that either. Even tie pads don't do that, right? So that's the idea of that. But overall, the back of the hand feels really good, and this is nice and padded. Like if I'm smashing this, it feels really good, and I can literally feel like it hits and just goes away. That's what I love. It's like stopping a high-speed car crash. That's what I feel like with this mitt. So when I'm using this with my teammates that are pros on the team, especially the one in the video who's a younger kid that hits like a truck, he makes contact with this, and I can feel the impact as far as like his energy coming into me. But I'm like trying to tell him to hit harder. He's like, I'm hitting as hard as I can, and I can't feel the impact nearly as much as I could with a lot of other micro mitts that just don't offer the same padding that you got going on. So that orthopedic foam construction with the gel padding on the inside of the palm for my hand, plus the foam ball in the center, and then the orthopedic foam here to cradle my hand, makes me feel safe at all times. And then of course you have the foam on the back, which allows you to have more creative angles, right? So a big classic one that you'd see with a lot of classic mitts would be basic, jab, cross, hook to the body, or uppercut to the body. So it would be 1, 2, 3 like that, and it'd be kind of placing underneath here, or some guys would do 1, 2, 3 and they'll put it here. But in this position, you can see how my elbow, my shoulder could jerk forward, break that up. Or if someone pops me really good, pop my shoulder up that way, or even miss, get my elbow or get my body. Whereas with this one, it would be 1, 2, 3. Right there, right? And a lot of people are probably going to think, and I even saw Simon with Fit the Box's review saying that the backside does not take as much damage as the front. Obviously, but at the end of the day, it's still a lot more padded than just having no padding at all on the back of your mitts. And I have my teammates, when I do it, hit pretty good with these, and I think it's because they're using very padded gloves too. I don't feel the impact nearly as much on the back of my hand as I would with another mitt with nothing at all. So I'll even do like a standard Mike Tyson combination, as some people would call it. I just call it a cuss system. If you know the cuss number system, it would be a 7 being your jab, then you'd have here would be your 6, which would be the uppercut to the body, and then a 4, an uppercut to the head. So I'd be 7, 6, 4 right there, so I'd have left, right, right, and it's right there. So I only have to really move my mitt one time, boom, 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 right, and we're right there, boom, 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 perfect. Or I can do, 1, 2, instead of going here, like I said, 1, 2, to the body here, or I can go 2 right here, like a straight right, uppercut to the body, stuff like that. Or I can do a jab to the chest, just like this. I can do jab up top, jab to the chest, or jab to the chest, jab up top. So as a coach, you got a ton of different options when it comes to these mitts as far as where to place your hands and where to go. And it makes things much easier on the fly if you mess up. Let's be honest, coaches, we mess up sometimes. If we don't put our hand there, how often have you got your ribs checked because the athlete's just going? They're in go mode, it's time to go. Just, oh, there you go. And I can do that a lot faster than doing that, right? So that's the idea. Because sometimes maybe you're getting your arm stuck in the way. I can just do boom, just like that, or boom, just like that, right? Which is always good. Or if I ever tell people to oh, that was my phone. Sorry. If I ever tell people to just circle out, I don't have them hit so hard if it's near my head, but instead of doing this, right, and like getting away, shying away, I can look at them and say jab, jab to this side. So you have a ton of different options when it comes to using these mitts, but we're going to go into the actual mitt work so you can see these in action with one of my junior kids. He's 16 years old. Very, very talented kid. Just won one of his kickboxing matches a few weeks ago. Let's see Santino hit these mitts. So sorry for the poor video quality. I don't know why I didn't upload that great. But as you can see here, I'm showing you the unnatural motions that you usually use as a coach for mitts. But now here you'll see me use the turtle edge. That way, just like that, I'm just turning my hand over for an uppercut to the body and uppercut up top, which makes it good. And Santino is wearing some very puffy gloves, which just makes it very good. But you can see how I'm naturally in position for him to do everything just fine, which is what I absolutely love about these. And as I mentioned before, we have micro mitts here, so you can work a lot of speed, good technique. And this is just Alex warming up for his last day before his kickboxing bout. And basically, he is just, you know, doing combinations over and over. And when I tell you, Alex, although he has puffy gloves on, hits very hard for a kid of his size and his age. And you can see me using that turtle mitt side again, and it works very good. I'm having to do an uppercut and a hook to the same spot for the body, because body shots are important too. And I'm having him, and I'm telling him here, because he's starting to turn his hand back a little bit as far as power goes, and I tell him, hit the mitt. And you can see him hit the mitt. You can hear the impact on the back of the mitt as well. The other cool thing too is if you guys are really into having the you know, the nice popping sound as far as the, you know, mitts go, they definitely have a really good impact on the sound department. So they sound really cool. They feel great. They feel nice and protective. And you can see me use basically one mitt in a really good way. Overall, they are very comfortable to use. You can see I just used a knee there. I actually catch these for kicks as well, as you saw right there. And I'm going to have Santino really kick the mitt really hard here. Boom, bang, and he just whacked right into the mitt. And I have really good protection there as well. So if you want to use them for light kicks, good knees will catch these, but kicks, you know, you still might want more of a tie pad. But at the end of the day, punches wise, these are very nice light mitts, very great to work with your athletes. So my final verdict here for the Hit and Move micro turtle mitts is Ozzy, the owner of Hit and Move, the guy that sent me these mitts, said that these would be my favorite mitts on the market. I know what you're probably thinking. Oh, of course they are. Actually, no. They are my favorite micro mitts I've ever used. But my favorite pair of mitts I've ever used, believe it or not, is by Combat Sports. I've had them for 6-7 years, and I've gone through 2 different pairs, and they are the long hand mitts. I absolutely love those blue things. The coaches like Eric Nixick and Henry Hoft use them. For me and my sport of MMA, they're just perfect for a mix of kicking, knees, clinch work, wrestling, and then, of course, punching. But my favorite pure boxing mitt, I'd have to say, is tied between these and most likely my Everlast Air Core. I have absolutely loved using these mitts, but these are my favorite micro mitts I've ever used. So Ozzy, in a lot of ways, yes, you were right. My favorite micro mitt I've ever used. Very shock absorbent padding, and I love that about these. As far as punches go, I definitely feel no impact when I'm getting punched, which is always good for my elbows, my shoulders. And I think a lot of coaches in boxing that strictly use mitts the whole day would really benefit from these mitts because of the orthopedic foams and because of the pattern used in the glove for shock dispersion. That's always something that you want, especially with guys. I mean, look at guys like Jeff Mayweather or, like I said, Patrice Boogie Harris that's in a boxing gym all day, every day, holding mitts. They're getting beat up on the mitts way more than I am every week because I only hold mitts for maybe 2 hours most a week now, which is not nearly as much as I used to when I was a boxing coach. When I was a boxing coach, the gym was open from 4 till 8 every single day. I virtually had a pair of mitts on my hands all the time doing that. So I always use a pair of Air Core mitts. But this just goes to show that you can have a really nice pair of mitts that is not huge on your hand that can also pad and protect your hand. And that's exactly what we have going on here with the turtle mitt. So they are my favorite micro mitt. Definitely blow my super rares out of the water. Definitely better than a pair of winning micro mitts that I used once or twice that my fellow coach had once. I actually didn't like the winning mitts so much. I definitely like them more than my Rinta Cage disc mitts and more than my Onward Athletics Maverick mitts that I use, my micro mitts there. I think these offer great protection for my fingers, for my hand, the back of my hands with the double-sided mitt idea, especially that shock absorption that you have here on the back. The one drawback though, and why I say these are great for a full-time coach that is in the boxing gym all the time, that you are holding mitts all the time, perfect for you. For a general person, it would be perfect for you because they will protect your hand and keep you for a while, but the price tag is a lot of money for a pair of mitts if you are a part-timer. They are basically $300. I want to say they're about $280, $290 brand new off the website, which is a lot of money. I know what a lot of people are saying is, oh, of course the design comes with that, a lot of money. If you go to any major big brand out there, namely Winning. A lot of coaches have used Winning over the years. Guys like Abel Sanchez, Freddie Roach, I'm trying to think, Manny Robles, Mike Garcia have used Roger Mayweather, Floyd Mayweather Sr. have used Winning. Those things will run you back from $300 to $500 depending on the type of mitts you get, and it's absolutely insane. There are some mitts out there that just cost a ton of money. So as far as a professional pair of mitts, these actually operate a lot better than the pair of Winnings I've used at one point. And they are cheaper than the Winnings I use, because I asked my fellow coaches, well, how much did you wind up paying for those? He said, oh, well, with the red coloration plus the shipping from Japan, it was like $425 for a pair of simple discus mists, which is absolutely insane to me. So you have $280 here. If you are a full-time coach and you are using mitts every day, multiple hours a day, I think these would save your hands and save your joints, your shoulders. I think it would also be good for you, especially if, say you're working with a group of 4 or 5 kids in front of you, if you're ever doing, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, going down the line. It'd be good too, because we always do 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 down to the body here. So now I can actually do, bend your legs, just by doing that 1, 2, 1, 2, instead of bending and curving my elbows in 1, 2, 1, 2, boop, 1, 2, 1, 2. So it's actually easier on my knees as a coach, especially if you're an older coach, you can't move around as much anymore. These are very, very good for you because it's solely off of your hands moving to certain parts of your body. Then it's up to your athlete to bend and do things at that point. Now I'm still young, so I'm able to bend my legs with my athletes, and I still do even with these mitts. But that's the idea behind these mitts. They just make it much easier for you to move your body. They're very nice and light on your hands. I think they're about a pound each. They're about 16 ounces per mitt, which is lighter than a lot of other heavier mitts out there. The foam composition keeps it nice and light, and they're very easy to throw punches back at you. Obviously, it's just like having a glove on, only it cuts through there a lot easier because it's a very flat surface. Just boom, right through there. Same thing when you're shooting hooks over the top. Very padded for your athlete. So if you hit your athlete back like you should be, when you hit your athlete back, not going to damage them too much. There are mitts out there that are just so hard, and it's just going to be like hitting your athlete with a brick, and that's just not fair to your athlete. But in this case, you have a very nice solid feel as far as softness goes, and then that impact absorption is great for your wrists, great for the back of your hand, great for your elbows, your shoulders, everything that you're going to be focused on with a pair of mitts. Like I said, it's just that price tag that might scare a lot of you guys, but coaches, if you're out there, I know you want to stick to using your titles and your ring sides. I don't blame you. I'm the same way with some coaches, but I will say that a good pair of mitts, if you're holding mitts throughout the day, will save you a lot of time and heartache. I see so many coaches when they walk in wearing, sleeves and braces and stuff like that, because all they're doing is they're holding mitts time and time and time again. So for a professional pair of mitts, I think they're right on track. So if I had to give these a rating out of 10, and I'd have to put them on a type of tier, because like I said a couple videos before, I'm starting to incorporate more of a tier system from F through S. I'd have to say these are definitely an S tier mitt. I give them a 10 out of 10 for the professional coach. But if you are someone that is going to kind of look at these and say, I just want to do mitts with my son in the backyard and stuff like that, they're not even close to a 10 out of 10 for you. But at the end of the day, I think these were more designed for the professional coach in mind. I think a lot of coaches would love using these, especially, you see a lot of coaches buying these primarily because they are guys that hold mitts every day. And mitt work is becoming more and more of a fitness thing too for a lot of people at gyms. There's even a local gym that I train at, and there's some guy, I don't even know if he ever did boxing, but he holds mitts pretty good for a lot of guys, and it's a good external workout for some guys. I don't necessarily agree with it because because it's bad technique, but they're probably never going to compete, so who cares? But at the end of the day, I think guys like that would love these mitts because of the longevity that they have. They're very durable. They're going to last you years upon years. I definitely think with consistent daily use, these would last you 4 to 5 years or more before you have to get a new pair of mitts, and I definitely think you would love using these mitts as far as the double-ended padding goes as well. You know, going from here to here immediately actually saves a lot of time and works really good, proper technique, instead of having your athlete pull off and do unnatural, you know, locations for body shots, you know, holding it under here to brace yourself, right, instead of holding it here so you can show them, okay, this is where your ribs are, this is how you knock the ribs, this is how you get the liver shot over here, stuff like that. So I think it works really, really good. I think if you're a professional coach out there, if you're a coach that's in the gym every single day, 6 days, 7 days out of a week for more than 2 hours, I would definitely invest in these mitts, especially for a micro mitt. Are there other mitts out there that I'd like over these? Probably if I was like a Muay Thai guy. I mean, these aren't necessarily going to cradle kicks all the time. I always use small mitts for Muay Thai stuff, but if I had a guy like Rod Tang in front of me, I'd want a pair of Thai pads, but I can't really knock that for hit and move because these weren't designed for an MMA or kickboxing person. This was designed for the sport of boxing. So I do think this is the best boxing mitt out there at the moment because of that. I need to use a couple more mitts out there. I know some people would like them more. Maybe I haven't used as much mitts as, say, Simon or C-Squared, you know, but at the end of the day, these are the best purely boxing mitts I've probably used. Like I said, they are tagged with my Everlast Air Core, which I absolutely love. But still, my favorite mitt, pad, whatever it is out there, is the Combat Sports long hand pads. Love those things. Been using them for a long time. Been through 2 pairs, and I will keep buying them until the end of time. But with that said, guys, I hope you really enjoyed this review of some innovative boxing technology, and I hope Hit and Move keeps developing things. I can't wait to see them do stuff like cups, headgear. One day, Ozzy, make some MMA gloves or shin guards. We'll sit down and talk about that, because if you guys can make the best MMA gloves out there, call them the Postmaster model, I'd really appreciate that. Will it ever happen? Probably not, but I'd love to see it. Because Hit and Move, like I said, it's just one of the coolest brands out there. They're very, very customer service friendly. If you have any issues at all with your equipment, if you get these or any other Hit and Move after my reviews and you have an issue with it, hit them up. They will help you. I promise you. They are the best people on the planet to work with. They're sweethearts. Absolutely love working with them, and I continue to work with them for a very, very long time. But with that said, everybody, thank you so much for watching your source of combat sports. As always, like, comment, and subscribe, as it goes a long way to help the channel. And if you want to know when I upload stuff, hit that notification bell as hard as you can, smash it to bits, and burn it to the ground, okay? So with that said too, follow all my social media pages. Primarily post to my Instagram and TikTok just about daily with new stuff. And I'm coming out with shorts a lot more. You guys really like the shorts. I think it's the attention span thing. I have the attention span of a squirrel. What was I talking about again? Right, there you go. So I'm doing that a lot more. But overall, I still love doing these reviews. Like I said in a video a couple days ago, I am kind of slowing down a little bit with that. But thank you so much for watching your source of combat sports. I've been your host, Al the Postmaster Tomorrow, and as always, I'll see you in the next episode. Have a great day, everybody.